Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Heroic League. We've got our second game of the day, Falcon Esports versus Pentakill Teamo, please. I'm Rapterror, joined again by Torres for this exciting game. And Torres, this is a game of a story of two different teams this season.
Definitely is. I mean, you can see Falcon 6-3 right now, trying to separate themselves from the upper echelon of the pack, fighting for second. See PTP yet to pick up their first win. Still some flames. They're kicking still. Obviously, it will matter a lot if they want to look for a playoff spot. Some of these teams are still at the 3-3, the 3-6 spot. So PTP not that far behind if they pick up a win here, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Falcon, they really want to try to get, again, like we said last game with INT, they're trying to get it so that they don't have to play UB in the first round of the playoffs. They are trying to fight for better positioning right now. With INT's loss, it's just them and BBZ tied for second. And if I'm looking at the standings correctly, I'm pretty sure FEC holds the tiebreaker between those two right now.
I think that's what it is, but either way, the pick star is starting to come through. And it looks
they
like
are deep.
Falcon has decided to pick up the blind pick Vladimir, whereas PTP is looking to take up the Xerath Ezreal right away.
Yeah, they're something we haven't seen in a while. I'm guessing that's mid lane. I think it would be weird to run Ezreal Xerath bottom. I mean, that is a lot of poke, but it doesn't really have any tools to set anything up, and it gets locked down pretty easily. Xerath, especially in the long lane, like bot lane, is pretty easy to deal with if he doesn't have something that can kind of buy him some space. So I'm guessing that's mid. Draven coming out for Falcon, I think, is a good choice here. Draven very good as the game goes on. He'll be able to out DPS the Ezreal. That's a great pick, great for shredding turrets, great for trying to snowball, which I think is what Falcon's looking to do here so far.
Yeah, a little bit of lockdown for their targets too. Vladimir can only really chase down his targets, and with Maokai, with that ultimate, with that twisted advance, we'll be able to lock down targets pretty easily. You can even expect it maybe to be a little bit of flex. It could go top lane, but it also could be on the bot lane too.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a Maokai support in a little bit, but that could be interesting to see, especially paired with Draven. It's a lot of lockdown, so it could set him up for some easy kills. Nami, though, great disengage for that, so I'm assuming they're going to try to maybe find a different kind of support, one that can kind of help them get around the Nami, or maybe a Braum. I know he has a little bit of trouble because he gets poked at, but I mean, the wall will stop the Nami ultimate and a much lower cooldown, so always a good trade there as we get into the second phase of bans. Now, if you're PTP, we see they have their mid, their AD carry, and their support. Do you think they look for their jungle next, or are they going to look for their top lane first?
I'd say you look for your jungler next. You really don't want on the first side of PTP. You kind of want the last pick, the counter pick, to be the top side. It looks like Falcon Esports is kind of going through that ideology too, as they're starting to ban out top laners. They've already banned out the Kled from the first rotation. They're starting to ban out the Gnar and the Malphite. So any kind of safe pick, they're kind of trying to put Pure Llama on something a little bit more uncomfortable, where he can't just skate across the early game to the weak side role. Has to pick more of a high risk kind of champion. But we'll see what he ends up picking.
Yeah, and the first pick, they've only got a couple seconds left to decide, and it's going to be a Sejuani. You are right, it is the jungler. The Boar Rider coming through. Got to get that little bit of, you got to get that beef in the front line, very squishy back line this game. So it's all about buying as much space and time for those backliners to just get the poke out before a fight breaks out, not allow Falcon to come into a fight full health, then just, fight them when they're low, which, I mean, it's hard to get to Vladimir. He can just heal off of Sejuani from the front, but, space is space, and Jarvan coming out to kind of dissuade that with his ability to just gap close.
Yeah, I mean, the Sejuani matchup into Jarvan actually isn't as Jarvan favored as one might think. The Sejuani actually beats down the Jarvan in the early game pretty hard if she gets her items. Can disrupt the EQ, can't get that damage off. Sejuani will win in the 1v1, but in the grand scheme of things, it is a 1v1, and it looks like PTP's comp it's a little split. They do have the nice beefiness of the Sejuani, but playing Sejuani into Maokai, Draven, and Vladimir is such an abysmal pick. It's so hard for you to do anything, but as I talk about that, it looks like Gnosis is picked up from PTP. Looks like they're kind of just putting their eggs in the basket everywhere. They kind of got they've got their peel, they've got their disengage, they've got their engage, and they've got their late game insurance with the Gnosis.
Yeah, not something we see often. Gnosis isn't something that usually hasn't come out, I think, for most teams in a while. It's really struggled the last couple of years as more modern champions have come through that have kind of made it harder for him to be able to farm up and scale. I think Rumble, even though as an older champion, is something that does do that very well. It really zones Nasus, and now even with the changes, to his Rumble's passive, you can't even just let him overheat and try to fight him because now he's got the attack speed magic damage amp. So that'll be interesting. But if they do manage to get it to the end game, if the Nasus manage to get those stacks going, it's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for a final prediction, I do think that Falcon Esports will take this based on comp advantage. If PTP can get some scaling, maybe FEC goes a little bit too far deep in their engages, goes through choke points where they kind of get through PTP, can end up winning, but overall will be Falcon.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Falcon's comp feels more cohesive. It feels more unified. PTP's kind of feels all over the place. It feels like the parts, like they're playing for different parts of the game, but outside of those parts, those components are going to struggle a bit. But we'll have to see how that works as we get onto the Rift for the second game of the day. FEC versus PTP. Battle for playoff placement, and for PTP, it's a battle for their playoff lives.
It looks like Vanal's a little bit late to the fray. The line of scrimmage is already set up, and he's kind of just running back from the base at the moment. But I mean, I feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure onto the bot side of the map, depending on where this Jarvan starts. There's really a 5-point start starting right now. The line of scrimmage just across the lane. He starts at that blue side and he ganks the bot lane pretty early. I feel like this game can get really out of control, where they can just keep on diving this Nami, who's squishy as all heck, because due to the straight damage, the base damage from the Draven early, get 4 auto attacks, and Nami's already about 20% HP. Just keep on repeat ganking, and they won't have any pressure for the Drake. Stack up that early advantage, pull him down to the bot side of the map, where they can just kind of harp on this Gnosis, where he's stuck between an ultimatum between farming and helping out his team. But I mean, if they decide to start on the red side, which looks like they're going to do, I want to see some pressure down onto the mid lane, where Xerath is immobile, and maybe even an early pickup on the a level 2, level 3 gank onto the Nasus from Falcon Esports.
Yeah, I think that Nasus, looking for a gank on him will be really important. You want to get Vanal behind early. Nasus really struggles when he's behind, and he's a pretty easy target, doesn't have any mobility, just has the slow, but when you're a Jarvan with a mobility ability, it doesn't really matter in that regard. And ooh, it's actually the new, by the way, I was looking at that Xerath in the mid lane. I think that is the new Xerath. If I see that again in the mid lane, let me check. I can't tell if that was the new skin or if that was... Actually, no, the new skin doesn't come out tomorrow, so it is just Dark Star Nasus. Sorry, the color... Nasus skins all kind of look the same with all the colors.
Yeah. I mean, new skin or not, something peculiar about the Xerath is that he's actually started the Spell Thief's Edge.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's not something I have seen happen in the mid lane. I've seen a couple mids run it in the last couple of patches, but I haven't seen it work out before. And usually I think of that as hey, you're going to be doing you're just going to try to feed your jungler, like a Master Yi lane, or like, I don't know, like a Jin Zhao, something that you just want to get scaling with all that extra mid farm. Sejuani doesn't really feel like the pick for that, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's just poking him out, trying to get the extra gold every time he lands the poke. It will end up selling it. It's just trying to get to his first item as fast as he can. Spell Thief is really just facilitating that. But as both junglers start on the bot side of the map, we can see them start making their way towards the top side of the map now. I want to see what happens in this top lane.
Yeah, I was going to say, Spell Thieves, though, they changed it, I can't remember how many patches ago it was at this point, but the passive on it, like the little, outside of the like gold generation, the rest of it doesn't, like the poke gold doesn't activate unless you have an ally nearby. Like really close to.
Yeah.
Graviel going in onto Paytime. I'm going to try to lock him down. Vanal isn't really nearby to kind of follow up on that. So just going to be a little bit of pressure out of the lane. Something I want to talk about, though, and I didn't bring up, that I was talking about earlier, I was corrected on. FEC and BBZ are actually 1-1 right now in the standings. So for FEC, this game matters to try to get that lead on them so they don't have to play that tiebreaker at the end of the season. And for PTP, this game actually, if they lose it, they are out of playoff contention entirely. The fifth the team right now in 6th place has 4 wins, and PTP needs to win out and hope that the rest of the teams in the bottom of the standing also only get to 4 wins and lose the rest of their games to be able to fight for that spot. So, everything is on the line for PTP this game. They have to play to win, and, ganks early on is a good way to start that out. Is Vanel and Graviel going in onto Paytime. They are chasing him down. He's going to get locked down. Vanel going forward. The smackdown. Paytime having to flash away. He's going to get out just fine there. Buying Vanel some room right there. Good job on the side of Graviel.
Yeah, looks for the return gank after the Krugs. I think Paytime expected him to back right after that. Caught him with a little off guard. A good bubble from Carrots, but I mean, just a little bit of back and forth. I'm not sure if Graviel used the Q as a buffer. I think they could have probably flashed on Paytime to finish off that first blood kill, but in the end, does force a flash and didn't overgreed it.
Yeah, now you can return later for like a return gank, catch him out when he pushes up a little bit more, let him get back to that, and then guarantee the kill, not having to burn any flashes. So that could be a good option right there, as Beshi gets hit by the bubble from the Nami, but it's not going to matter, though. Carrot's going to get engaged on. He is going to go down. First blood going over to Wild West. The TP coming through from Llama, looking to try to grab something right here. Trying to hit the stuns, misses that, misses the W, hits the Q. Half's getting very low, but they're going to get out just fine right there.
Yeah, I mean, Carrot's a little bit baited into that. Lands the bubble, thinks he can go for like an auto attack, get a little bit more of a extend that trade a little bit more, but Wild West Wild sitting in the tri-bush on the bot side of the map, walks around, just an easy EQ, which what I was talking about earlier, where Carrots is one of the squishiest members, and if it helps, and Beshi Wab definitely have the CC to lock him down, enough for just for Wild West Wild to lock him down with that EQ, and the damage is already done.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a smart usage also of the AD carry. You bait them forward, let them hit the bubble, try to bait them to use their mobility, the Ezreal mobility forward, kind of prevent them from having anything but a flash to escape. It works out. The Nami did go forward. It let Wild West get the time to get on there, gave him the space to get to it. As Dragon is starting up right here, it is getting very low. Sizzle here on the side. Wild West trying to knock him away, but here comes Llama with the ult. He's gonna take down Wild West there on the side. Graviel getting low right there. Camel trying to grab a kill. Picks up Graviel, so both junglers down right now. Carrot's getting low too. Camel grabs him with the Q, and it's a double kill for the Vladimir. Now Beshi is on the move with his dragon friend to try and take out Pure Llama, but they're getting very low. They're going to have to back out right here as the teleport comes through from Vanel. Teleport, though, coming through from Paytime, too. I think this is going to turn into a much bigger fight. Beshi gets flash Q'd, and now Vanel gets Q'd, too. He's going to get smacked down by the Nasus, and now it's separate sides right there. The ult coming through from Paytime, trying to get Sung, but Sizzle's going to pick him up, and now
Vanel's
Camel's
going a
on the
little deep.
Yeah. Camel having to get out of there right now. Wild West has returned. No one's gone for this Dragon. Dragon looking around like, am I a joke to you all? Why did you all stop? Someone take my buff. And, ooh, Camel, now he's in danger right now. He's getting low, too. He has to flash to get out of there. I think they're just going to have to give up this Dragon. It's going to go over to the side of PTP.
Yeah, I mean, that fight went on so long, the junglers died and came back. I mean, it was a doozy wrap.
That's what we call a fiesta. That was a fiesta of a fight. It was all over the place. It was messy. It was back and forth. That's what I like to see. I like to see scrappiness.
I mean, you can hear the mariachi in the background rap. Yeah, that's for sure. Looks like Vanel, I mean, the initial fight was a good look from Team Falcon. PTP kind of just overstayed after they got that balling gank. I mean, they pushed in the wave. Initially, Falcon Esports couldn't move, but didn't necessarily have the damage to burn the dragon as soon as they could. A little bit of misplays happening here and there. You can see Vanel not TPing, kind of like not for the flank position, probably not thinking he wasn't as strong as he's been shoved in the whole time. But as you can see, as he started to get on those carries, he was just giving them to Kane. Like, I mean, you don't expect that from early game Nasus, but I mean, in the end, PTP picks up the dragon and they pick up the fight.
Yeah, it was good waiting for Vanel. He walked into the pit. I don't think anybody on the side of FEC saw him walk into the pit and didn't realize it was there. So the rest of the team goes forward. Beshi there on the side looking to maybe pick up that like side kill. So Vanel, he sees him as soon as he appears in the open, flash the wall, cue him. He's so low, it doesn't even matter how much farm Nasus has already. He's gonna get it. And now the stacking game begins for him. He is He's only at 13 CS down from the Rumble. It's actually, I think, a good position for Vanel to be in. Like, you'd kind of expect him to be more against a Rumble, considering the range disadvantage. So he's in a good spot, I'd say. PTP, putting themselves in a pretty good spot this game so far.
Yeah, PTP putting a pretty good fight in this game right now, but I'm really scared for their late game. Like, even though they have the Gnosis, the ball is rolling, they have their poke, there is a kill on Xerath. If those carries get disrupted, the Ezreal is not going to be doing that much work later in the game with how much lockdown that Falcon has. With the Maokai ult, the Twisted Advance, the burst damage from the Vladimir and the Draven, and the hold down from the J4, they're going to sizzle inside of that Rumble ult.
Yeah, but they might even get to the late game if they can grab it here. Paytime getting into the slow of Graviel's ult. Gonna avoid the stun, but now he's gonna get locked up with a stun right there. Vanel going forward too. The ult coming through from Paytime.
Oh.
Low, and the Jarvan ult locking them in. Graviel getting so low, he's still on the fire. He might burn down. No, he's gonna get out right there. And Wild West has to flash to get out himself. But a good trade of damage right there. PTP sticking around, though. They want those turret plates. Carrots came up to help out that. Fish goes, no, I came all the way up here. And you know what? I need these turret plates. I need it for my feet to swim all the way back to the bot lane in the water taxi.
Yeah, I mean, these plays are looking more like a little bit of an unfortunate event coming from these players. A little bit of cold hands coming out from them. You could see that Carrots made a great roam, but Paytime actually missed his flash when he decided to ult. Flashed into the after he casted his ultimate, he flashed back into the Gnosis, and no one finished him off. Carrots still having Ignite. It was more of just a decision-making thing on the fly, and the players, I mean, they come out unscathed, but I mean, our Burning Summoner spells, you can see the mental toll that these players are having right now. They're a little discombobulated.
Yeah, they're looking a little off kilter right now. I'd say, especially for FEC, we think of them as a team that tends to play, they tend to have like a plan, and they tend to execute fairly well. They're a good executing team. So it's a little odd to see them playing off like this. Generally, they don't play this let's say sloppily. But as I say, that Camel gets caught in the mid lane right there. He is going to channel onto Graviel, gets stunned up, but here's Wild West to try to save him. Camel on the run, trying to get time for his Q to come up. The W coming through. Ooh, Beshi grabs it from downtown. That's some roasted pig as the Swan goes down. 1-for-0 trade in favor of FEC.
I mean, Camel Basil going down pretty low there. Manages to get out by the skin of his teeth. It looks like it's going to be a 0-for-0, but Beshiwap from downtown just throws the axe. Picks up that kill.
Yeah, those some good axes from Beshi right there. And, he's going to collect the gold off of that with the Draven passive, so that's really good for him. Manages to get him a little bit closer on that lead that he needs. Get him into that snowball position he desperately wants to be in. And, FEC, despite the rough start, we said it was playing a little sloppy, but in terms of farm, they're doing excellent. They're still up across the board for the most part. I'd say the one exception is in jungle. I look at the support thing. I was really confused for a moment why Nami had 19. I realized that Nami is indeed running one of the farming support items.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit surprising to see, but overall, doing very good on the side of FEC and keeping that farm lead, making up for the issues they've had in the fight so far. Get to a 2K goalie, and now they're trying to contest this Infernal Drake. It is going to be Mountain or Ocean Soul this game, and that Infernal can help them get that little bit of extra damage. Let Draven get that little bit more he needs to finish off a target, get that gold stacking. But it's just a dance right now. Spotted out, Graviel and Kareth. They does not hit Law, but they do not know he is here quite. And
yeah. I mean, you can see that both top laners have gone back from farming on the top side of the map, coming down to trying to contest this dragon. Really just playing out the chokes. Graviel's trying to get some vision right now. Both teams have pretty good engage for the most part. I mean, Graviel really the only engage for team PTP, but I mean, it is hard engage, and whoever gets hit by that, you can assume will get bursted down.
Yeah, and the two mid laners just off on the side there in the mid lane, just kind of duking it out. None of them have rotated down yet. This fight can break out at any time. Camel trying to get down to his team here, trying to cut him off. But here comes Camel. He's coming for the flank. Pure Llama trying to dissuade him from coming in. As Haps goes forward, he gets the flash forward onto Carrots. Carrots goes down initially to Beshiwap, and the fight is on. Vanel takes out Wild West there in the middle of it. Beshi trying to get some damage out. Vanel's so tanky. Oh my god. Vanel takes one. They take another. It's the fight turning around right there. Camel versus 4. And what looked like a good start for FEC just blows up in their face. 4-for-1 trade in favor of PTP, looking for that fifth as Llama tries to zone off with the Xerath, and second dragon goes in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple things that went wrong for Falcon in that fight. You can see that Pure Llama actually had the advantage on Camel Basil. By the time he tried to come into the fight, he was already down to about 70 HP. Whereas he was looking for a flank option, but I mean, just kept on getting poked out. Wasn't able to get any abilities down. No impact on the fight. Messed with that. Habs had a really commanding engage, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was a good one. He flash twisted advanced onto one of the carries, but in the end, there was no follow-up damage, and Wild West Wild was just too far from the team, and he got bursted down too fast. By the time he tried to set up the Cataclysm onto the enemy team, try to keep the Gnosis locked down, he didn't actually get it off before dying, which allowed Vanal to just walk over Beshiwap and the rest. By the time that was over, the fight was already over. Their health bars were too low, and you could see what happened from there. Camel Basil barely escaped with his life.
Yeah, and FEC, I think that fight, like, the biggest thing is they walked so far forward, and Vanal was just sitting there on the side. They were so focused on carrots that it's like, oh, guess Vanal's here. Okay, guess he's eating. He just goes, oh, guess I'm just gonna walk forward and smack everyone with my stick. And it works out. It really works out for him. 3-0-3 right now. He's already got the Divine Sunderer down. He's ahead of Rumble in the items. Only 3 CS down. I have to see how many stacks he has right now in the Nasus. I'm guessing because he's been finishing champions off. He's actually got a pretty good amount.
Sure, he has a good amount. It's 3-0. I mean, I don't think he's back since that fight. He just walked straight to the top lane because he's had that Sunder in his inventory for quite a while.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he has back. So when he goes back, he's going to have quite a bit of gold to spend for himself, and that's going to make him even more dangerous, considering that fact. But you know, the Draven, he's still getting. He got 2 shutdowns on his. He got 2 paydays already out with his gold from his passive, so he's keeping up a little bit too. Again, Draven is someone who wants to snowball. Looking at the gold lead right now, it actually is slightly in favor of Sizzle. So this gold actually just keeping Beshi just even with his lane opponent right now. On the top side, though, 1,300 gold almost for Vanal over his opponent. And this game, you know, it's looking really much like its top lane is the big difference right now between these two teams.
Yeah, it really does. Looks like Gravel's kind of just... Oh, the flash Q charge. I mean, not much gonna happen because Vanal's really far away, but I mean, a good chunk of damage down onto Paytime. You can really see how much damage Sejuani does in this early game.
Yeah, and unfortunately, though, the cost of the flash... He had his ult up. I think he probably could have gone for that kill, but flash burn... Paytime probably take that. He's going to have to back, and he'll probably have to burn his teleport. But having flash will always be useful to help escape a return gank as Camel and Llama continue their duel. Llama actually doing good work on this Xerath on keeping Camel zoned out. Every time Camel tries to go join a fight, Llama's there just to smack him with the Q, use the E, use the W, just to try to zone him out, as Wild West is caught out right here on the side, and Sizzle goes on a killing spree, picks him up. There was no hope. As I say that about Llama keeping Camel away, keeps him away just to use his E there, stun up Wild West. And now PTP grabs themselves the Herald, and Torres, it's starting to look like PTP might be able to find their first win of the season.
Oh, knock on wood, Rap. I can't do it to him like that. The 09 power spike is here. We'll see if it lasts.
Sizzle managing just to take a good chunk, but not an insane chunk. He's going to be able to walk out of there. Carrot's able to help keep his AD carry alive. As now the mid turret going down with this Herald drop. Llama hitting onto Camel. The nice thing about Xerath, he can hit from out of turret range, so he doesn't have to worry about being engaged on. As now Camel gets engaged on, gets stunned up, and Graviel grabs the kill for himself. A shutdown onto Camel Basil. Let's watch. I'm surprised Camel didn't pull into that one.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little bit greedy with his combo as we watched this back. Like, he tries to E, gets disrupted, gets stunned. He's just permanently stun locked. He got greedy. He probably should have just gotten out of there and relinquished the turret, knowing that the Herald was going to finish it off. But I mean, tries to go for the trade kill on the Sejuani and just doesn't work out.
Yeah, and he burns his Ignite in the process, but a good play right there. Like I said, PTP pushing the lead right now. They've got the turret. They've got now a kill on the mid laner. They're just making plays around their map. This is the most honestly proactive I think we've seen PTP be all season, and it's working. It's working really well for them. They're fighting off one of the top teams in the league right now. The team tied for second place, FEC, and if they keep this up, you know, that like we said this, like, it's do or die. They need to win out to make playoffs. They need to hope for the miracles losses and from the rest of their opponents on the bottom side. And the first step is getting this win here, and they're just inching closer and closer to it. But we'll have to see if they can close it out. They have had leads in the past before, but it's where they make these decisions in the next like 7 minutes or so, and around the 20-25 minute mark, that determine really how PTP does for the game. This pay time takes a good burst there from Llama. Dragon looks like it might be started up soon on the side of FEC, but PTP is down here. They are ready to challenge.
Yeah, I mean, FEC is definitely threatening it, but I mean, Vayno's still up on the top side without TP. And it looks like, questionably, PTP is kind of just giving up the Dragon, where they could have been on Soul Point.
Yeah, again, it is the first Dragon they've given up, so... And it's one mountain. It is good stats for FEC, but still nothing in major. It's not like they just gave up. Like the Soul Point, they didn't give up. Like honestly, a Cloud Drake for the cooldown. So it's not the worst thing, and it means that they can just drag out the stacking of it. Not something you always want, but it is. Oh, it's okay. It's not the worst thing. They do manage to get the turret on the top side. That is going to be good for them. I will say, though, FEC managing to get that objective, managing to know, hey, Vaynol's not going to come down here. We're going to call the bluff that he's going to probably not show up. It works out. I mean, they've managed to grab something for themselves. They're on the board.
Yeah, I mean, where you lose something, you always pick up something on the other side. I mean, in that case, it's Vaynol taking the top lane turret, getting a couple more stacks. He's sitting around, I want to say, 390 stacks at the moment. Looks like he's going to wrap around pay time, though.
Yeah, Paytime triangle on the run. Vaynol goes in the ultimate. The ult coming down from Paytime. The smack's coming through. Vaynol doesn't even care about this ult. He's going to try to walk him down. The flash from both of them. Channeling coming through from just misses on the edge, but Vaynol manages to grab the kill with the E, and now it's on to Camel and Wild West. They're actually just going to back out right there. Not the Q kill he wanted, but that's still a kill regardless, and I think he'll accept that.
Definitely accept that. Looks like the blue buff goes into pure Llama. I would have liked to see it on Vaynol, but I mean, in the end, Scumbag teammate takes it.
Machine gun Q.
Not there. It's fair game.
Machine gun Q Nasus.
Of course. Always want to be stacking up those stacks.
Gabriel tanking this turret up a little bit. I mean, gets out pretty much full
he
health.
Said 20.
Yeah, that's fair. He is Sage. He can tank as he pleases on his Swan. Now they're pushing forward, trying to get this bottom turret too, trying to crack the last of the outer turrets for themselves, or the tier 1 turrets for themselves. Is getting pretty low. Wild West is here to try to back them up. Jungle for jungle right now, but Llama's coming on the side. Halfs gets engaged on by Carrots. Graviel going forward. The ult coming out from Halfs, trying to buy some time. Beshi trying to get something right here, but he's getting very low. Has to flash out. Wild West on the run, gets the Q out. Camel looking for something. Ooh, the ult hits multiple people from the Xerath. Doesn't finish him off.
Oh,
getting so low. Just escaping by the skin of his teeth, or I guess the skin of his bark in this case, as PTP manages to stop anyone going down, wins the fight, and is now rotating to take the jungle as their prize from FEC.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little unfortunate. Well, it's good to see if you're on the side of PTP. Like, you can see them winning these fights out. What would have happened if they had fought 5v5 at the Dragon? It's a little sad to see, knowing that they could have been on Soul Point right now, wasting a little bit of their tempo, kind of just slowing the game down. But in the end, they are still winning. And you're seeing the fruits of their labor. They pushed out the top side tower. They've broken out all the outer towers, and now they're starting to siege the jungle, kind of choke them out of EXP and gold. And we'll see where it carries on from here. Where if PTP decides to go for the Baron, they decide to go for the fights around the Dragon, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and in the case of PTP, I mean, an FEC, like, what do you do from this point? How do you claw your way back in this game? Because you can't really do it on the side push. You are mostly an AP damage team. This Nasus he's got his Merc Treads, he's got Spirit Visage. Most of your AP champions barely have their, like, they haven't even got to their second item yet. In the case of their top laner, he's barely passed his first item. How do you, like, what do you do? What do you do to try to claw your way back into it? Where do you try to find the plays, the kills to get yourself back into this game and cut down this lead?
I mean, right now they're just threatening the Baron. They're probably going to wait for the Dragon. It looks like PTP is really just deciding to sit back and relax and just really just have their Nasus and Xerath scale on items. But that really can bite you, like, straight in the butt later when it comes to this. Because, I mean, they're not necessarily pushing their advantage as far as they can be. They're playing too safe, and if they're all taking backs at this time. This is when Falcon Esports should be taking the time to get vision. It's super hard to get vision when you're in a losing situation, because you're scared of just getting piled on. I mean, if you lose one fight, they get one major objective. But if you're playing the vision game and you're playing smart around the enemy, not even the enemy jungler, but just the enemy like in general, there are immobile targets you can target to try and get some gold on and stop just objectives from being taken due to simple number advantages. That's where Falcon needs to look for. I'm not saying it will be easy, but the later this game goes on, the more gold will be going onto Falcon. And if they don't get poked out and are in a straight 5v5, I can see the fight going in Falcon's favor.
Yeah, Carrot's getting poked at right there by the Maokai. Those two saplings just half health him right there, trying to bait out another sapling. Fish got to run, but the bark is there to snap back. Carrot's basically already zoned out of this upcoming dragon fight. And this, again, fight to put themselves on soul point. PTP looking for something right here. Graviel's passive is going to be burned, so he's not going to be quite as tanky if this fight starts out unless they get something going. And actually, the duel going to the mid lane. Paytime getting caught out. Gets the ult down. Llama looking for something right there. He's going to get the Q. He's going to shut him not shut him down, he's going to take him down. Shut down going from Camel on to Pure Llama, and a double kill for the Vladimir, taking down Carrots right there. But Graviel trying to run away, trying to get something. Beshi Wop grabs him, but Vanel, he manages to grab the Dragon for his team, puts them on soul point. But I think that was really good for FEC. We said they needed to try to, use numbers advantage, and it works out. They managed to grab 3 kills, and now I think they're turning for Baron.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a good look. I mean, 3 of the members from PTP are down now. I mean, of course, it is still the Gnosis, and you still have the poke from the Ezreal, but Paytime does have TP, so he can TP into this fight, essentially making it 5v2. But I mean, we'll see how much, if they will get poked off by TPP. As Sizzle, you can see that damage on the Haps is almost dead.
Yeah, Haps almost just completely knocked out right there. The flash forward, Vanel with the flash E just for the style points takes out Halves for himself. Stops the Baron. Good play right there. Now Paytime's getting caught out again. So low. He's going to go down. Sizzle slays him. Paytime, what were you doing there, buddy?
We're playing League of Throws, Rap. That's what's happening right now.
That is roast Yordle. I don't know if that's allowed under the world lore. I don't know if that's allowed in the world of
Roasted Yordle?
Yeah, I don't know if roasted Yordle was allowed. I don't know what their laws are against that, but he was pretty roasted. He was pretty burned. And now this
Wild going in, trying to get the Baron steal.
In, looking for something. Shut down from Camel on to the Ezreal. And they managed to steal the Baron. They lose Wild West in the process. Camel's probably going to go down too, but they at least stop the Baron from going down, and I'd say that's probably worth it.
I mean, we can get a replay right on that. I mean, it looks like, PTP went down in the fight prior to this, but then respawn, got an easy pick onto Paytime, and got on Haps. But I mean, it looks like Wild is just, he's stuck. He has some vision, knows when to go in the EQ. The Nami ult barely misses a frame. That would have knocked Wild out, not even able to get in smite range. But in the end, just a frame too late, gets in there, smites it away, and it looks like 2 members on the side of Falcon have the Baron buff to work with.
Yeah, and Graviel's smite came so early, it left the Baron at like 90 health, so Wild West able to take that. They only have it on, I think it's just Beshi. I don't think Haps had responded in time for that. But, that's still, again, oh no, he did. Okay, he did spawn in time. So they got 2 Barons right now. Probably not going to get much out of that, but still, like if PTP had gotten that Baron, I think that would have been pretty disastrous for FEC. They made it so hard to come back into it. Beshi's trying to buy time. Graviel getting E'd away. The spinning blades get him pretty low. And now he's going to just try to clear the camps, but he might just be a little bit cautious on that. Llama trying to grab the red buff for himself. Maybe even give it to Carrots. Both mages probably not going to take the most use out of it, but the healing can help. It can be a little bit useful, and it's taking the objectives away from FEC as they clear out the entirety of the most part of the bot side camps, missing just the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, PTP's kind of just angry at themselves right now. I mean, they got the Baron stolen. They kind of, even though they were at like 50% HP after that fight, they try to march down the mid lane. It's stopped by the ult of Paytime. Really smart to do, actually. Ooh. Making sure his inhibitor doesn't get taken by ulting that minion wave. There's no siege coming through, and at that point, they're just hanging around the enemy jungle, just taking what they can get because they couldn't get that big neutral objective, trying to starve out Falcon of as much gold as they can. But I mean, for the next minute or two, while they have that Baron buff, the side waves are just going to get collected by Falcon, and the same is going to happen from PTP until that dragon spawns.
Yeah, and Looking at the goal lead, it's still 3,000 in favor of PTP despite all the setbacks right there. As we just saw with the gold lead, in case you missed it, the Nasus. Actually, let me see that Nasus. 540 damage right now on the Nasus. My goodness, that's just one big smacking going on. That cane has evolved from a cane to a lamppost. He's basically beating them with a lamppost at this point. Over the head with a giant lamppost. As Graviel goes on to Halves, but Halves gonna back him off. Beshiwap showing off, scares off the Sejuani. And now Llama trying to get onto Paytime. They're trying to pick him off again. He's been picked off a lot in this game so far. It's not been the best time for him in a matchup that, we said at the start, like, it was more, we thought it'd be more favored for the Rumble at the range advantage, but he's just been ganked after ganked after gank, getting caught out. He's got to try to find a good ult for his team. He needs to find it so his team can burn through targets quickly and win these fights. But it's still been a little bit rough for him right now as the waves are cleared out. Only 45 seconds on the strike. It is soul point for PTP. If they get this, they're going to have that Mountain Soul. That Nasus and Graviel are going to be basically impossible to kill. And, FEC, they can't let that happen. They need to make a stand here for this objective.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you're Falcon, I don't think you're going for the 5v5. Team fight, simply because Nasus can literally just run through all your CC if he's not held down by that Jarvan. But I think they should, honestly, if they don't find any favorable angles to find a pick, maybe on the Nami or the Ezreal, or maybe the Xerath, if that he is within range, which I don't expect him to be, considering he can Q and ult from halfway across the map, I do expect Falcon to kind of just trade their jungler and try to go for the steal, which is what they've been doing, especially on this patch. But I mean, it kind of looks like they're committed to the 5v4 is Vayne still up in the top lane.
Yeah, he's just gone for the split push now. The ult coming through from Paytime. It's going to zone out the rest of the team. The Dragon does go down to FEC, but the top turret goes down too. Graviel just buying time against Paytime. He is going to go down. Paytime's going to pick up his first kill of the game. And now Wild West trying to get out. Teleport coming through from Paytime to stop Vayne. Going to stop him from getting to the inhibitor turret. So good trade for FEC. Gets a kill, gets the Dragon, only loses one outer turret. Say it's pretty worth it, but now forced to back, and PTP's trying to look for something to push right here.
Yeah, I mean, PTP is really committed to this side push, like this split lane side push. But I mean, to be honest, I'm really not liking it. They've yielded over 2 dragons where they could have already had soul already. And at that point of the game, the Rumble Ultimate, you can sit in that thing for at least 2 seconds without the shield getting knocked down. It's gonna look real. I don't know. PTP is just giving up a lot of tempo.
Oh, speaking of giving up tempo, Halves costing his team any tempo they were trying to get on the top side as he gets taken out by Llama and Sizzle. Good catch there from Llama with the E. Pushing now to... Actually, no, sorry, Sejuani. Graviel backed up, so it's just a 4-man push through the top lane. Vayne roaming over to the mid lane, thinking he can maybe get those minions, try to push towards that mid turret, but they know he's backed up. Camel on the side looking to maybe get a flank. Paytime also taking quite a bit of damage right there. Gets locked up by Carrots, so they're able to run away. But now the hunt is on. They're looking to try to grab him. Wild West going forward. He does ult. Gets flashed out, though, for Llama. Llama does go down. He does manage to take Wild West with him, though. And actually, sorry, Carrots takes Wild West. Ult coming through from Sizzle just to stop the backs right there. 1-for-1 trade. Doesn't really go in favor of anybody. I think I'd say probably it goes more in favor of FEC because 2 flashes and a heal were burned on the side of FEC, but... They'll have to see how if the next fight breaks out, or if that even matters.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a positioning mistake from the side of PTP, feeling that they're really strong, but of course, that Jarvan Rumble combo is really strong. And when the Jarvan's right next to you, you can see what Pure Llama was thinking. He was waiting, he was holding his flash in hopes that Jarvan would just R him, and then he'd just flash out, essentially making the chase over, maybe waiting for that cooldown so he could stun him again, because you saw that he used the E onto the Vladimir, where the Vladimir dropped it with 25% HP. But I mean, even when the Jarvan ulted, it looked like Pure Llama, was just caught in a daze. It was like a little bit of a lag moment where he sat in the Rumble ult for 1 tick too long and ended up going down to the base damage of Jarvan.
Yeah, and it was still a close fight, 3v4. For PTP, they did very well in that fight, considering they'd overextended in the position they were in. But this is something you were talking about with the Dragon objectives. PTP is just not grouping up. They just keep committing to these split pushes when they could probably group up and win a big team fight. But they're just insistent. We need to just split. Let the Nasus do his thing there. Let him just keep getting the stacks. Just threaten it while we take objectives. And I don't know if that, like you said, I don't know if that's the play for this team. I think the team fight really would be the better option for them here.
Yeah, despite having a Gnosis and having that stigma around him where he should be split pushing all the time, getting stacks as strong as he can. I mean, he's at 3 items. He has the most gold on the team, and he's an absolute monster. He should probably just be fighting, and we'll be able to close this game out.
Yeah, and it's not like there's a lot of like kiting outside of, say, maybe like the Draven with his E. The rest of FEC for the most part, like they want to dive in. Jarvan wants to go in. Vladimir wants to go in. Rumble, Malphite, they all want to go in. So they're just getting themselves into range of this Nasus. That seems like the field day for a Nasus wanting to team fight. It's the perfect way. It's just getting free Q stacks as the rest of your team is being chased. Q slaps. Who wouldn't want that? But they like I said, they're still committed to this split push. Vanel's still on the bottom side. We'll have to see if he teleports to his team right here to maybe go for this Baron. As the ult from Graviel lands right on the Beshi. Beshi though manages to get out. Wild West stopping it right there. The ult coming through from the Nami. It's gonna just miss Beshi trying to run. Beshi goes down as
Pure
Llama takes it. Beautiful ultimate from Pure Llama right there from downtown.
Man, that's Eagle Eye right there. Snipes him from downtown. Beshi walk. Just get mollywopped with that one. He's down in the grave, 6 feet under. Looks like Vanel is 1v4ing on the other side.
Yeah,
he's buying time. Everybody do Baron, please.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see what happened. It looked like he wanted Wild West, but right into the Rumble. That's unfortunate.
I mean, yeah. That's that. I mean, the 1v4 it came out. Pure Llama doing some work though.
Yeah, trying to buy the time, getting a lot of damage. Pay time getting super low right there. They are really trying for this Baron right here. I think though they might need to decommit. Ooh, flash for from Camel looking for some right there. The ult coming through. It is going to pick up 1. They're going to pick up 2 right there. Looking for 3, looking for 4, maybe a 5th from the whole thing. FEC grabs their 4th kill of the fight, grabs the Baron, and what a beautiful play. They're running for the Dragon now to put themselves on soul point.
I'm speechless.
I am too. I'm so confused what PTP is doing. Like, you get the pick onto the Draven, you're set up for Baron, and then your frontliner just runs in 1v4.
It's tragedy, Rap. I mean, we're on to the 7 dragon game. If it lasts that long, we will see. I mean, a beautiful pick on the Beshi Wap, but instead of Vano committing to the split push, which he's has done in the past, he went to the mid lane, decided to 1v4, maybe caught in the middle trying to group up. Those minions just looked a little too tasty and just gets caught 1v4.
Yeah, it was really strange. It felt like I don't know, maybe his monitor turned off on accident while he was walking into the mid fight, turned it back on and realized, oh, I see Jarvan, let's go. Oh wait, hang on, the rest of my team isn't here. What's going on? That's about all I can think of for that. But they're still the lead. They still have 1,000 gold lead. They still have the kill lead. They're still scaling. So it's not like the end of the game right there. It's just just an odd play, and they can still make a fight here. Like if they manage to fight, Nasus back on the split push, they could still just try to draw a fight. There's no really objective for them to fight around right now, but maybe they can force a fight with FEC. Give Vanel the time to just maybe take that top inhibitor turret, crack the base open. Finally put themselves in a dangerous position. Still up almost 3,000 gold at this point. Meanwhile, across the rest of the game, if you look at that, it's mostly even, maybe 500 gold difference. Probably the biggest is 2,000 in the mid lane. Camel doing exceptionally well this match. Both him and Llama have been putting up quite a show for their teams. They've been trying to make the plays happen. Honestly, at least in terms of Llama, it's not Xerath is not a champion that you expect to make those plays. Like, you expect him to be on the back line supporting his team with some artillery, but he's setting up some stuns. He's poking out team members for his enemies for his team to fight. And now Vanel's here onto Beshi. Beshi just standing there, though. I don't think he realized what was going on, and he's going to go down immediately. Now Vanel's here, too. This is the fight we were talking about. Wild West getting low, too. Sizzle's going to pick him up. Camel trying to run away. He's going to go golden. He's going to go out of the pool, but he's going to get shut down by Sizzle, too. Carrots blows up on the back line. I don't know. I'm speechless again.
No, PTP is playing with our emotions right now here, Rap. I mean, Beshiwat doesn't realize it's an enemy Gnosis on the team. Kind of just freezes in his tracks and
he just
chilled.
He just kind of stood there. Now Paytime's going to pay with his life too. It's gonna catch him. The ult coming through. It is not gonna pick up pay time. He is gonna manage to get out, but that is the inhibitor turret finally going down. That NASA stacks, they're finally paying off. This is just, it's just utter chaos, and PTP is thriving right now in this, as there's no other objective right now. It looks like they're gonna try to push down this bottom inhibitor turret, or maybe just back off. They are pretty low, and the respawns are coming through on the side of FEC, but that, Beshi grabs Llama, doesn't even see the ward. Oh, unfortunate for him. Beshi got to make up for what happened in that fight, and he manages to get a good shutdown right there onto Llama.
Hey, blue for my mid laner any day. Yes, sir. I take those.
But would you trade your mid laner for? Would you trade the enemy mid laner for your inhibitor?
Heck yeah!
We take those, boys. We take those fights. As now, minute 40 until the Mountain Drake. Whoever gets this dragon will have the soul. So both these teams got to fight. 891 the stack count right now for this Nasus. My goodness, I think that's almost a one shot onto halves with the base damage. That's
now we know what PTP's up to. He's waiting to 1500 stacks. We're throwing around the ball. All right.
Toss around the old pig skin, or in this case, Sejuani skin, or bristle. It's bristle. Bristle's the boar.
Bristle skin.
Toss around the old bristle skin.
I mean, we'll see if he gets down. Maybe trying to one-shot Beshiwap at some point in the game. But I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't go that far. But I mean, if we get to 1500 stacks,
I mean, he almost
PTP wins.
I mean, he almost one-shot him in that mid lane fight. If it weren't for the shield coming out for him from his item, for his mythic, like, he probably would have died immediately right there. So it's getting pretty close. If Vayno manages to catch him after that shield has gone out, if he's just low enough, that shield might not even matter. He might just get blown up right away. It's Graviel and the boys on PTP trying to buy some space right here. Half's doing good work buying some time with those little saplings. It is chunking Graviel pretty low, but Carrots is healed to heal him up, and the dragon spawns in 20 seconds. It looks like Vayno is gonna back right now. Is ahead of it. Ooh, actually on the fight breaking out. Wild West has been caught. Ult coming through, both from the Nami and the Ezreal. Gonna just get out. Wild West trying to run, trying to do the little jig, the little dance. Camelback grabs Carrots. He's gonna grab Llama. Llama goes down. Graviel getting low too. He's gonna be taken out. And now it's Sizzle on the side trying to duel. He's gonna go down. It's just Vayno versus 5. Oh my god, Camel making the plays.
Man, I mean, PTP has such good vision control, but they're relinquishing it. Graviel doesn't want to throw out that ultimate to essentially catch Wild West Wild out, making it probably so they just pick up the Drake and the Baron for free, as the enemy jungler would have went down, but I mean, essentially decides not to use it. And during that whole stint in this fight, Camel comes out from the side and just messes up the back line. I mean, you can see him right here. Carrots face-checking Camel. Camel base with no hesitation flashes in EQ ult, and the fight's already over.
Yeah, Sizzle and Vayno and Graviel, they're so focused on that Jarvan. They didn't even see Camel on the side there. Soul gone over now to FEC. They've managed to claw that back for themselves. They've managed to claw themselves into a good position in this game. Long respawns. Pings onto Baron, 10 seconds up, but no one on PTP except for this Nasus. I don't think he's going to be there. I think they're just going to take this Baron for free. And Nasus teleporting to the bot lane, back on the split push, trying to maybe distract them, trying to make them just back up and draw them off of it, but they're taking it so fast, I don't think it's going to matter. Baron down to 3,500,000, and it's gone just like that. FEC roaring back into this game.
It's looking bad for PTP, boys. They've given up 4 Mountain Drakes. They got the Soul and the Baron. But if we're following the trend, Falcon should throw this next fight.
It's just back and forth.
I'm gonna need PTP wins up in the chat. There's hope. I believe.
The bristle ball is in the hands of FEC. Do they make the touchdown? Do they give the interception? Fumbled? It's going to be fumbled, or is it going to be an interception? I love good old when you can make league football memes. Always so good. Now, PTP just kind of trying to get some farm up. Again, nothing really to fight for. They push so far towards FEC's base. All they can really do is take jungle camps for themselves right now. Continue to stack up. And in that fight, like, I honestly think a good fight for PTP right now is just leave Nasus with your backline carries, because if Campbell comes from him, it's not going to matter. Ooh, actually, hang on. It takes 3 people coming down bottom for Vanal. I'm almost speechless. He's still getting caught, but he's turning it around. Here comes Graviel to try to help him out. Gonna go down almost immediately. Beshiwa picks up the shutdown for himself. Second kill of the game onto Vanal. And like we were saying, I was saying Vanal should stick with his team, but like the team also should be around Vanal. He's just caught out alone again.
I mean, it's just, if there's one thing to say, it has been uncoordination from both these teams from on the side, and this whole entire game, it's been playing out for the full 42 minutes through. There hasn't been much coordination. You can't really expect that at this stage of the game. But I mean, Falcon isn't really pushing their advantage with the Baron, which is, they've sent 4 members down to the bot side just to kill Vanal, and they let their mid lane inhibitor like almost not get taken down, but kind of siege. No one pushed out that mid lane wave, and at this point in the game, the Baron's already half done. There's no siege coming out from them.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. Like you said, like, you got Baron. Why aren't you pushing it? You clearly are winning these fights pretty hard now. Why not try to grab the why not try to take a turret? Like there's the mid turret. It's very low right now. They could easily push that down. Maybe they're just worried about Xerath or Vanal getting space to flank with. Secret Agent Nasus coming through the back line, smacking your Beshi Wops, throwing you halves everywhere. Maybe that's the fear, but you know, it screams like FEC is playing scared. Like they're getting these leads, but they're still scared that they could still mess up this fight. I mean, we're 43 minutes in. If a team dies here, it's not a very close fight, like 1 or 2 members left. Like, this game could end off that fight. So
they gotta close the cast. Rap. They hear us. They know. They're scared of fumbling.
They know it. They know the caster curse is here.
Kristongo's scripts are just running these games too hard. They're scared.
We did see
I can't fight against it.
We did see him in those Discord calls the other day. I guess we knew he was talking about. He's telling these teams to make it just a crazy match. As now, both these teams getting close to the 75k mark. FEC's past that mark, moving towards 80k. One of probably the longest games we've seen this season, honestly, out of both leagues right now. And it's very close. I mean, this is a good look for PTP. If they can win this out, they can show, hey, we can play with the top teams. And, you know, if I take a look at their schedule, it's... Oh, actually, hang on. This might be a fight right down here. Wild West goes forward, looking for something, but Carrots is going to dissuade him right there with the ult. And ult down from Carrots. It's pretty fast, though, on the cooldowns as Vanal pushes the top side. But what I was saying is, PTP wins this. Their next matches, Sword, Spear, UB, and UB again. Wait, that doesn't look... That doesn't... Oh, I'm sorry.
Takes it back.
INT and UB. Sorry, I was looking at Sword for a moment, but yeah. So like they do have a very hard schedule ahead of themselves. And Llama gets flexed on forward. Camel looking for the kill. Beshi picks up Llama, and now Sizzle on the side getting solo. Vanal is still just split pushing the tower. Carrots on the run. It's some sashimi there as Beshi gets the knife down onto Carrots. Now Graviel's on the run. 4 people chasing him. Vanal on the back. He gave up on the split. Now he's trying to look for some kills. Sizzle has to back. Graviel getting low. It's some roast boar tonight. Give me that ham. That Poro ham is now Vanal. Before, what are you doing, Vanal? What is he doing? Trying to get away. He's already so low, and now Beshi's on the chase. Sizzle trying to buy the time. I'm just. It's FEC's taking command, and now Elder's up in 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an Elder pickup from FEC. I don't think there's anything PTP can do. It'll probably be a Baron take after that as well, and that'll probably be game. But I mean,
all I can think of is for Vanal, like, you know, he could teleport to the top lane, maybe just teleport in and just charge. He is pretty tanky and just try to smack down that Elder, but it's going so fast.
This
absolutely
burn.
insane, and it's gonna go down. FEC grabs it. They put themselves in the driver's seat of this game, and PTP, their playoff hopes are dying right before their eyes, like the plant in my window.
Oh my god. I mean, your last chance. I mean, they have Elder Dragon. If FEC decides to take an even 5v5 fight like they just did, I mean, Camel did burn Flash for that. Essentially, he did almost go down. It was a good fight back from PTP, but I mean, what really swung it in their favor was, I mean, Vado went from the top side of the map where no one was contesting him all the way to the mid lane to try and save Graviel, but I mean, he's the one who ends up getting caught.
Yeah, and this has been the story of this game. Vayno just on the split push. He's not with his team when he needs them there. He's not there buying that space that a big Nasus can do. And now
The Baron.
he's just burned his ultimate. They're trying to burn this down as quick as they can. Camel
No!
going forward, looking for something. The Baron goes through for the Ezreal, but they knock him back into the pit. It's going down. Camel grabs one, goes on a killing spree, grabs two. That's three for the side of FEC. Paytime looking for something, gets one. Sizzle goes down. Pure Llama on the run, and he's going to do it too. It's a triple kill for the Rumble, and that's going to be the game. FEC has managed to stop PTP's win. They've managed to stop their the fall to the the stop managed to PTP getting their first win, and they are going to shut the door on PTP's playoff hopes.
I mean, this game was just so back and forth. It looked really scary for FEC, even though they were winning that fight. I mean, Graviel jumps over the wall, scared of what could have happened to him. Well, pushes the Baron. His Sizzle ends up picking up the Baron, but in the end, the fight is just picked up from Paytime. And the game goes to Falcon.
What a crazy game that was. 50 kills between the two teams, over 101 assists, 103 assists. What insanity.
I have no analysis for that game. It was just, in one word, banger.
It was a banger, and Llama did a lot of work that game for PTP. I would say he's the factor that kept them in it for so long, but it doesn't show quite in the damage chart. But Camel made play after play in the last 4 fights there, catching them out by the Dragon Pit, catching Carrots and Llama, catching them in the mid lane right there, and then grabbing a massive ult there at the end fight. What a crazy play. And I am like, I'll be honest, the only analysis I can get out of this, FEC has proven they can go toe to toe, they can make some crazy plays, but that was dicey looking for quite a while for them.
Yeah, I was dicey for both teams. Very questionable decisions coming out from the mid to late game play. I mean, the early game mechanical plays didn't look that clean. The only ones I can say who had really good mechanical play in the beginning of the game was Pure Llama, whereas that swap to Camel Basil in the later stage of the game, with the mid to late game, where they kind of swapped. Pure Llama was zoning out Camel in these early fights, not letting him do any impact, but as soon as Camel got onto 2 items, he was just diving the backline and making the difference between these fights.
Yeah,
and I mean, it really showed up. That's why they won in the end.
Yeah, that Vladimir, that's the power of the full build Vladimir. Can just blow through back lines. And I also want to give credit to Beshi, because Beshi was tearing right through Vanal there. Even with the 2 armor items, he's got the Dead Man's, he's got the Thornmail. It's just not enough. And FEC, they move into sole possession of 2nd place now. But PTP, with that loss, the best they can finish at is 3-9, and that's the end of their playoff hopes right there, unfortunately.
Fortunately, the end of their playoff hopes, but if they continue to play, we are still excited for those games.
Indeed. And I'm excited to see, like, if they can keep putting up performances like these, like going toe to toe, I think they can get a couple wins on the board for themselves going into the the end of the split. I guess with that, we're going to throw it to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Afterwards, we got an interview with Wild West Wild right after this.
makes you an exception.